Okay guys, unfortunately Joshua is busy today, but we are committed to giving you guys one video per week. So I'll be taking over for today, bringing you through a shoulders and arms workout. Nothing too crazy. I think if you guys want to add an extra session to the end of your week, maybe bring out your shoulders and arms, you can try this one out. We are doing it in a slightly different format. We're doing more like a voice-over on top of the training montage. Trying something new. Let us know what you guys think about it. Enjoy the workout.
Alright, so for our first movement, we are doing seated dumbbell shoulder presses. This will be our main heavy movement for shoulders, trying to go relatively heavy. So I believe I was doing 6 to 8 reps on these. Of course, the one shown in the video is just a warm-up set before we move on to a heavier set. If you notice the way I set my bench, I don't exactly like to set the bench all the way up, so I lower it by 1 notch because it feels slightly better on my shoulders. So the next set, this is my top set.
Haven't done this weight in a while. Not sure if my spotter is good enough. We'll see.
So yeah, I actually haven't done this weight for a couple of months. Actually pretty nervous for this, which is why I needed a spot for the first rep, just in case I couldn't get the dumbbells up. But thankfully, it went okay. In fact, I think I did most of the work myself. But unfortunately, I don't think I got 6 reps. I believe it was 4 or 5 reps. Yeah, I can't remember. But this was my top set. This was all the way to failure. Yeah, couldn't grind out the last rep. But felt pretty good, considering that I haven't been doing that weight for a while. So next up, we have bent over rear delt flies. For this movement, I like to go pretty high reps. So because it is already such a short range of motion, I generally find that higher reps on these feel better. And in fact, you'll start to feel the burn only towards the end. So somewhere around the 12 to 15 rep range. So moving on to some side raises. Now that we got the rear delts out of the way, we are trying to target more of the side delts. As you can see, I'm going relatively heavy on these, using a bit of momentum, and to be honest, I think it is perfectly fine to use a bit of body English when it comes to side raises. I don't believe that you can build big delts by just going super light on these. Of course, it has to be done in moderation. You shouldn't be just swinging the weight up with zero control at all. But I think if you gradually work your way up to a heavier weight, so that means you establish a good mind-muscle connection in the earlier sets with lighter weights, I think it's perfectly fine to go a bit heavier in the later sets. So try to progressively overload on these as well. What I'm doing here is actually a double drop set. So I did 17.5 before I dropped down to 10 and then 5s. So you can see that I'm just grinding out a couple of reps with partials. So yeah, that was my last set. That was my top set. So now moving on to arms, we started with triceps first. As you can see, for tricep push downs, I'm actually using double rope attachment. So I mean, this is not exactly compulsory, but using this setup actually gives you a better contraction because you're able to push the rope all the way down. But I mean, looking at the video, I think I could have done a bit better on the stretch. But yeah, I think this was my top set for triceps. Moving on to biceps. So as you can see here, the pattern is I'll be doing one tricep, one bicep, one tricep, another bicep, basically alternating back and forth. So now this is the main heavy movement for biceps. We haven't got to the heavy movement for triceps yet. Later I'll explain in a bit. But barbell curls, I believe was 2 to 3 sets of these. Yeah, going relatively, okay, I wouldn't say heavy, but it was quite heavy for me because I haven't been doing these for a while. But yeah, this is the main movement for biceps. Just your good old barbell curls where we try to overload the biceps. And now on to some incline skull crushes.
This is how you know you're training with noobs.
So yeah, I like to go pretty heavy on these skull crushers. In fact, that's one reason why I did the tricep push downs first. I think the incline skull crushers can be a relatively weird and unnatural movement for most people. So for some people, you may experience a bit of discomfort in the elbows, which is why I prefer to warm up the elbow area with a slightly better movement like a push down before moving on to a heavier movement like skull crushers. So yeah, this was surprisingly quite heavy. Yeah, so once we're done with triceps, now we're moving on to another bicep movement. So here we're doing incline hammer curls. For biceps, you notice that or rather in general, I like to do movements that are not too similar. So for this, we are focused more on the stretch, slightly different from the standing position. So yeah, incline hammer curls. And now on to some cable curls. This will be a finisher superset. So we're supersetting these cable curls with overhead tricep extension. I think by now you will be able to tell that I'm quite a big fan of the lengthened position for tricep movements. So yeah, I mean, if you want bigger arms, bigger triceps, you gotta work the long head of the triceps, and putting the tricep in a fully stretched position can actually help with that. So nothing too special with the cable curls. I think, yeah, decently high reps. I think 12 to 15 reps, and after that, yeah, it's a superset with overhead tricep extensions. So yeah, actually I kind of love this movement. I think the only downside is you can't really load too heavy because you start to feel that the machine's kind of pulling you backwards. So now that the triceps are in sort of a fatigue state from incline skull crushes, just pushing out a couple of reps, and that is it. Concluding the shoulder and arms workout with this superset. So yeah.
Alright guys, that's the end of the workout. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. In the next video, we'll be giving you more updates on Joshua's prep. I think he will be 13 weeks out, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, stay tuned.